What's up, guys? Knives and Guns here, coming at you with a really special lantern video today. It's not going to be a super long video, but I just want to make it real quick to tell you guys what's coming up. This here is my Aida 1500 Express I got off eBay. I picked it for a pretty good price, what I think is a pretty good price. For a pretty unique piece. I mean, they're not rare or anything, but they're still really cool. This is my first Euro lantern. Euro as in German. This is a real German-made Aida. I think the dates are really hard to do on these. It is a 4-digit date code. I believe this one was made in '65. Yeah, it came to me. It was in a pretty bad place. It was not very well off at all. I had to totally disassemble it. Take the rapid preheater off. BB dance the fount. If you don't know what that is, BB dancing the fount is when you put BBs, like regular BBs for like a BB gun, in the fount with either citric acid or vinegar or Coleman fuel. There's a number of things you can use. But you basically shake it around, it gets all the nasty gunk out of the fount. This one burned gasoline a lot of its life. I can tell that by the way the fuel smelled, the residual fuel that was in the fount. It was disgusting. It smelled absolutely terrible. It was just not a good situation for anybody, including me, the guy who had to clean it. But you know, anything's possible, and it cleaned up super well. You can see the rapid preheater came out really nice, and it works great. A really cool lantern. I'm not super familiar with these. I basically had to learn as I went, and while a lot of people think these are super difficult to work on, I didn't have that much trouble with it. It came apart pretty much lickety-split, aside from a few things. You know, the main valve was pretty tough to get out, but nothing my vise couldn't handle. So, yeah, it came apart really well. I was pretty happy with how it came apart, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, considering its starting shape. It was totally blocked up. It had fuel varnish in every orifice you can imagine. Haha, orifice, I know. It was just very stopped up, and it took a lot of cleaning. I had to boil most of the parts in vinegar. I use vinegar, not citric acid. Citric acid's kind of hard to come by here, and I don't feel like ordering it. And distilled white vinegar is super cheap. I just use vinegar and cut it 50-50 with water. It works great on brass parts, and it works great for taking off any residue. The fount doesn't have too many problems. It would polish up a lot nicer if I actually spent a little bit more time on it. Honestly, my hand got tired of polishing, so I just quit. I'll probably leave it. I like it. It's good enough, shiny enough for me. I use all my lanterns, they just don't sit, so I might give it another coat of polish here. But the vent on top is really cool. You can't really see it. The lighting in here sucks. But it's bright orange, I like that. I like the orange on the Aidas aside from the black and the blue of the Petromax. Aside from that, they're identical. Petromax and Aida parts are interchangeable. The only thing different is the name. Of course, you know, you guys can do your own research on Petromax lanterns, but basically, they were developed by guys named Adolf and Max Greitz. And they've basically been made the same for 100 years. I mean, they haven't changed at all. They burn all kinds of fuel: citronella, gasoline, benzene, diesel, kerosene. However, there is a caveat to that. do not burn any other fuel besides kerosene unless you absolutely have to. And the reason for that is these don't have a check valve like a Coleman. These have a non-return valve. It's basically, I took it all apart and replaced that along with the generator foot valve, another common problem on these. And I'll tell you, all it is a spring and a little rubber pip. So, and the fuel tube, or the pump tube, sits directly in the fuel. If that pip fails, you'll be squirting fuel everywhere. If your pump is not good, if your leather is not that great to hold it down, you'll be spraying fuel. And I don't know about you guys, but there's something about gasoline vapors, hot burning flame, and pressure that scares me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick to kerosene. I'm not particularly scared of kerosene. Kerosene needs a wick to burn pretty much anyway, so I'm not particularly scared of that. So I'm going to use straight up kerosene in it, but I know in a pinch it would do other things. I've got other lanterns that will do other things safer, like a 237. It'll burn everything that I just mentioned and then some, and it'll do it safely. So I'll go ahead and stick with my 237 if all else fails. However, as far as just using this on kerosene, it's a great lantern. The rapid preheater is fantastic. Literally 20 seconds of preheating and it goes, which is astonishing seeing how most Colemans take, a minute and a half. So that's very, very cool. Really neat feature. You can see it there. You basically just pump your fuel gauge up to the red line and light it and it goes. I'll have a more detailed video on how to light this thing a little bit later on. I just wanted to do kind of an overview / review. I probably won't do a separate review on it. That'll be boring. But I will do a video on how to light it because most of the lighting and history on these things is in German. I can't find a real good straightforward video on YouTube that really explains these things in English. So I'll give it my best shot here in the upcoming weeks. Other than that, it's super bright. It's amazingly steady. It's as steady, if not steadier, than my 74 639, which is a hell of a lantern. And I tell you what, it's just as steady and just as bright. These are incredibly bright. I've heard a lot of people say that these are really loud. The only thing I can say to that is you must not have your air tube adjusted properly, because mine's not that loud. Probably most of the noise you guys are hearing are from my 639C and my other 639 providing backlight, but all in all, this lantern's not that loud. You have to adjust the fuel air tube to 14.3 millimeters. You know what, I'll just go ahead and I'll make a video on the basic knowledge of operation and whatnot on these. I don't want to go into it on this video. Basically, it's a great lantern. If you see one, pick it up. Very, very cool looking. This even has the original glass. You will not be able to see it because they're ridiculous. Yeah. Figuring out techniques. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see it. You can kind of make it out. It's got the original glass. Pretty cool. Cleaned up really well. The nickel's really thick. All that. Brass fount. A solid brass fount. No metal bottom. Pinholes won't be an issue. Rust shouldn't be an issue. It's mostly just junk, fuel gunk in there that you should clean out when you get them. This one's either missing the preheat cup or didn't come with one. I haven't seen one that came with one yet. So maybe Aida just didn't include the preheat cup. They do have the preheat hole. I'll probably add on a new old stock Petromax preheat cup because sometimes the rapid preheater, while a nice feature, I just don't think it's totally necessary sometimes, especially when you're not in a hurry. It does use up quite a bit of pressure and quite a bit of fuel. Yeah, so I'll probably just go with the old preheat cup just for another option. It's a good option to have. It sits right down in there. Yep, so here it is. My Aida 1500 Express, 500 candle power, running excellent. And that's about it. Just a quick video for you guys. Yep, that's it. Knives and Guns signing off. Have a good day, guys.